Here we are with the head coach of the Portland Thorns, Mark Parsons. Mark, it's been incredible to get you on. You've had some technical difficulties. I've had some technical difficulties, but we are here together, my friend. This is what it's all about. How are you doing?
Yeah, doing great. Thanks, Nat, for the conversation. I said last week it took us 4.5 years to get one-on-one time with you, and then it took me another 4 or 5 days on top of that to get one-on-one time. So we have earned this, and it's been built up. So hopefully it meets expectation.
Well, I hope so too. And I got to say, it's really a pleasure to be on with you, Mark, because you and I have a lot of conversations when we're at Province Park. Be it for pregame for Thorns, or whether it's a Timbers game, whether it's just a training session, whatever it is. And I always enjoy them because you're always so thoughtful about how you see the game, how you see life. And I'm just interested, right now as we're going through this a crazy, challenging time in all our lives, how you're dealing with things, as a human being and as a manager.
Nat, thanks. It's mutual. Being able to pick your brain, watch you on Timbers TV on the sideline, watching you tiptoe around Gio after a tough half with his eyeballs burning lasers through the microphone. It's great to always listen and have this opportunity. It's been obviously an interesting, tough few weeks, and it starts with thinking of other people that have a worse kind of situation than yourself and other people around you. And I think for me, a chosen mentality has been to find opportunity in this, to see it as a threat, see it as a challenge, to take the challenge on and try to support as many people, family first, and then the team, inside the team, taking care of people and taking care of players. And then also continue then to team and individual development. So something that stood out is no doubt we're in the same storm, but we're all in different boats. Everyone handles things very differently, and to respect that and understand that and try, which is obviously new to all of us, try to be there to support people throughout this. At the same time, I think we found a massive opportunity in developing ourselves as staff, and in developing our players, and players developing themselves, players developing us and supporting us. There's an opportunity here to grow, to get better, do things we wouldn't be able to do if we were on the pitch every day at this point.
And before we dive into the soccer side of things, I'm just curious, Mark, you were from England, and I'm just curious, how are people handling things over there? Are you in connection with, your family over there, your friends? What's going on?
Yeah, I think when it first happened, I feel grateful that I'm in a high-performance environment. I think the club, starting with Merritt and Gavin and Mike, and what the leadership here has done is be able to provide us with fast information, the most up-to-date information. And then what the NWSL, MLS, and the federation here, the communication's been very good. So I feel like I've been grateful in a high-performance environment and be able to share that with family. England, I felt, were just behind what US were going for. Obviously, that's the pattern, different countries behind different countries. And I think trying to share with them this is real, trying to educate that it's coming, you're just behind us and we're going through it now. But sharing the information that us as staff and us as the team, we're trying to be good role models and trying to get ahead of social distancing and get ahead of some of the habits that we need to get comfortable and used to right now.
That's the beautiful thing about the game of soccer, isn't it? It's a worldwide sport. So you're seeing things happen in different countries, and it's kind of building up to where it's at right now. And obviously leading to this moratorium now on the NWSL season, training sessions. You guys can't train. You guys were slated to have your preseason tournament at the end of March. Didn't obviously happen. And now how are you dealing with it as a coach, and what message are you giving to your players right now?
Well, just to follow up on the last thing. So trying to build an opportunity, we're taking a lot more time than we would have had to understand the individual, and ask them to understand themselves a bit more. I think some of them have gone through a process, some of them haven't. We're maximizing this time to understand their identity on and off the field, and within that framework of them knowing who they are on and off the field, building off those strengths, and then also at some point we'll relate that to what the team needs are and what the team standards are and what the team identity is. And that's what we started probably 2 weeks ago, making it very clear that team identity, which let's put 2 pillars under that. Team identity is priority for us this year. And we've been very, very clear on and off the field who we are. And the two pillars of culture, first one, and also style of play, being very clear, being very consistent in building those. We are our absolute best when we are towards the end of the season. We are 8 months, 9 months, whatever the period is, deep in great purposeful training towards a clear identity. And we felt that was not as managed as well, and the strategic approach from me wasn't, I don't believe, as effective last year. We took more short-term approaches to different seasons within the season. This year, being very clear on our identity, starting with culture and also style of play, making it really clear. So understand the individual and going and unlearning and growing with them and understanding what makes them who they are, which allows us to support them better. And then also being very clear on identity and how those things entwine. And what we're coming across now, everyone's here for a reason. We're not going to have an individuals whose strengths don't tie into our culture or tie into our style of play. Our recruitment is very purposeful, and what I think players and us are realizing that everyone is going to be important. Everyone is going to have value. Everyone's going to push us forward, and that's what it's going to take for us to get on this journey of continuous growth and towards our goals.
And I love what you said there. You're talking about learning what you want to do differently from past seasons, learning about how to really, divvy up the season in terms of how you want it to look. But the identity, I think that's really what sticks with me. The best teams I've ever played for, they have an identity, a style of play. And, it's like you always want to ask the question as a coach, do you want to have the style fit the players or have the players fit the style? It sounds like for you now, you come to a point in time where you want the players to fit the style, your identity. And now you said with your recruitment process, you're going to be able to do that. And it sounds like, man, this is going to be a big season for you. I'm curious, moving over to the individual side of the game, how are you communicating now with your players, not being able to physically be with them at the training center?
Yeah, we're having group or team Zoom meetings. We're having two team Zoom meetings. We actually got one in 20 minutes, a nice workout that staff will join in as well on the tactical and the.
Wait, hold on. Sorry, your staff's going to join in as well.
Staff going to join in, yeah. My 6-year-old daughter's been pumped all day that she gets to join in with the team. So
Nice.
we're going to have a good workout, living room workout that Tom, our performance specialist, will put together.
Oh, great.
Hoping for a good workout, concerned with what the banter could be, but we'll be ready. And then team development through via Zoom, and then individual. And this is where the biggest impact is going to happen, which we don't always have this time, and I think we're really maximizing it. I've spoken to 18 of my individuals, so I've still got another 9 to go, which I'll do towards the end of this week. So we had 9 week 1, 9 week 2, and then another 9 week 3 where I'm having very deep and deliberate conversations. So are my other 2 assistants on the field player side, and obviously a goalkeeping coach who only has 3. And we had 3 stages to that individual development in this first period. But as a byproduct of obviously learning and understanding more about the individual and building that framework of who they are and their own identity on and off the field, the relationship and the connection between staff and players. That's why we wanted to rotate 9 at a time with the 3 of us field coaches. Mm-hmm. I think that's going to be a secret weapon. I think it's very important to us to be able to, number one, help the players reach their own goals as well as team goals to a deeper level. And that's where you talked about excited to see this team and the thought of obviously being very clear on identity and culture. We're definitely taking the long way. This isn't going to be, I felt like we got punished a little bit to try and be too outcome-based and also short-minded and take shortcuts. We're taking the long-term approach like we have previously, but we've had to adapt to make it better because we need to we want to reach bigger goals. We want to be bigger and better than we've ever been. And the only way to do that is to build through the real stuff, the real things that make a team special in high performance in all sports. We want to be absolutely at the top of our game in this sport across the world. It's not going to happen in a week. It's not going to happen in a couple of months. It's a new era with the personnel and the way the roster has been built. Built for the now. If you look at it, it's built for now, but it's also built for long term. There's a lot of young talent there, players coming in that it's going to be 3-4 years until we see them anywhere near their prime. So I think the balance is fantastic for us to take this long-term approach. And when I say that, I'm talking about the process of our work. Play for Portland, coach Portland, results are important. There's no doubt we have to be able to pick up results, but not be consumed by that. We've got to be obsessed and consumed by the journey and the process.
Absolutely. And is there anything on the personal side, Mark, in terms of your day-to-day that you're doing that's any different? I know as a coach, it seems like the day kind of fills up with you still managing your team and your players. Are you doing anything on the personal side? You have maybe a little bit more time with Edie, your daughter, anything different that's going on in your life right now?
Well, two things. Honestly, I feel like my contact hours with work are actually more. I mean, I'm 10 to 12 hours right now. It's less intense, but it's more hours because of the amount of contact and the amount of things we're trying to achieve. Yep. When you're on the field, I'd say it's probably between 8 to 10 hours the working day, but it's more intense. The intensity is higher, so time-wise, it hasn't given me more time. Now, in my free time, I've definitely done a lot more self-development. I've continued a lot of work that I've been doing in the off-season. I think the staff have been brilliant in doing that across the board. But for me, yeah, I'm either reading a book or I'm on a podcast or I'm watching a documentary, something that relates to our culture, our Thorns standards, to keep educating myself and find ways to be able to share messages with players and also style of play, analysing games. We're analysing a game later on. Me and one of the other assistants will be breaking down a tactical view of 2 English Premier League sides, looking at different categories of style of play for our team development meeting later on in the week. Yeah, for me to be able to continue improving my knowledge, improving my brain is critical. And in season, it can be challenging because of the intensity, because of the constant pressure, the constant need to move forward and keep everyone on the pitch moving forward. So while I've probably had some longer hours, it's not been as intense, and I actually have, more time to be able to develop myself. And then, I think the most important commitment is we go for a walk once a day as a family, which sounds so simple, but it's, a blessing, an absolute blessing. We get to go for a walk, 30, 45-minute walk, my wife and my daughter, sometimes my little chihuahua. And it's magic. It's an absolute magic part of the day that I don't normally get for 8 months of the year.
What's the name of your chihuahua?
Frankie. Cool story. I wanted to call it Didier or Diddy after Drogba. I'm a Chelsea fan.
Yep.
So I said, hey to my wife Hannah, I said, hey Hannah, would love to call our chihuahua Didier or Diddy. And she said, we're not calling him after a Chelsea player. I said, okay. Hey, what about Frankie? And she was like, I really like that name. So we committed. We went all in on Frankie. Yeah. And then one of my friends came over and let the cat out the bag and said, hey, I love that you called him after Frank Lampard.
I was going to say.
So I managed to sneak it in there. So Frankalicious, I don't know. Well, it depends what mood he's in at the time. But yeah, a little cutie that's part of our life, and obviously, especially during these times. I think a lot of pets have probably found a lot of positive with their owners. We've loved time. I've loved time more with my family and my little chihuahua.
Yeah, and I've found the same thing with my cat and my family. Just have more time with them. Walks around the neighborhood, the bicycle rides, everything. It's been a silver lining, and obviously the challenging environment we're all in. Now, Mark, do you have time for a quick? I'll be as quick as I can here. I know you got like a couple minutes.
Got time.
We're going to call it 4-4-2. We may have to skip a couple based on your time, but we're going to just jump into it. 10 questions, rock and roll. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Favorite game to coach?
What'd you say?
What's your favorite game to coach? If you had one to pick.
Sport or a specific game?
So if you have a specific Thorns game that you have enjoyed.
Gotcha. Orlando semi-final 2017, because it was a mixture of we'd lost the semi-final before, we're at home, filled out stadium, like the pressure was immense and the team was unbelievable, and we just kept going, we kept scoring. Loved that game. In tears after when I saw my wife. I pretended for like 2 weeks. I said to my wife, don't worry, it's not a big game, don't stress, don't worry. And then I went up to her and went, I was joking. It's been an intense 2 weeks and I'm crying and we're off to a championship. All right, quick answer. Apologies.
No worries. I love it. Favorite goal that has been scored while you've been coaching?
Nadia Nadim, 2016 against Seattle. Tyler Lucy against Orlando.
Wow, you got those right there. I love it. Was there a favorite game to watch on TV in your recollection in the last 5-6 years of watching soccer in general?
Soccer in general. Leeds United against Arsenal in the FA Cup recently. I was watching it. Leeds coached by Bielsa. Championship team against Arsenal team, against Premier League team. And after about 10 minutes of watching it, I texted a friend on Twitter, DM'd him and said, please tell me you got the tactical view of this game. This is blowing my mind. I have to see tactical view. And he goes, yep, sent it across, and I analysed it until 2 a.m. I was obsessed with knowing how Leeds did this to Arsenal. They lost 1-0, but they dominated every phase of the game.
I love it. I love it coming from the coaching standpoint. If you were not a professional soccer coach, what would you be?
I would want to be a full-time father, full-time family person, and just experience more magic time with my family. Now I've coached, I would say I would feel like I'll be managing something. I'll be managing people inside a business. Feel like I've developed a lot from the people around me from coaching to be able to support people reach their goals.
I love that answer. What is the best way for you to start the day?
Get up on time and grab a coffee.
What's the most interesting place you have visited?
The name of it. We've pleasure to see some different places. It's interesting. I've been to Mexico. I think it's Playa del Carmen, but we went on to see Chichen Itza, if I've got the name right, kind of a pyramid, and I might be butchering the names. We saw Chichen Itza, and then we also somewhere another I think might have been a Mayan ruin, where there was a big well, it was the biggest well I've ever seen. Huge. Like, you couldn't jump down, of course, but you could walk all the way down, and then you can jump in the water. We jumped in the water, you swim around, and then you get back on the tour bus, and they're like, yeah, no one knows how deep the water is. No one's ever got there because it's too deep. And then you're like, what was in there? Mexico, seeing the Mayan ruins, Mexico.
All right, we got to be quick. Who inspires you to be better?
Oh, my family, my wife. Yeah, actually, loads of people. There's so many people. I think back to Chelsea in England. I think in the US. My wife, she's on me right now. Like right now, I feel like I'm in a really good reading pattern. And the second I start slipping out of a reading pattern of reading, she's on me. But also, I know what I was doing when I met her. I know what I was doing. I know where I was going, and I was settling to be okay. I was settling to be average, and she inspires me to want to be better than that. And yeah, I owe her everything, and I owe her a lot more time together, which hopefully one day we'll be able to have. Beautiful.
All right, 2 more. If you could turn any activity into an Olympic sport, what would that activity be? It's a tough one.
Basketball. What's it called? Pop a shot thing.
Yeah.
The machine arcade.
Oh, I love that machine, man. We just got to go head to head sometime, man. Are you decent?
I'm average on a lot of things, but I'm going to crush you at this. I'll go in the arcade. I'll wait for that. I crush that high score, get the tickets, let it reset, and then I'm back.
Yeah, bring it. I love it. Do you have an all-time favorite coach?
Too many. Too many. And too many different influences. All time. No, I'm not going there. There's too many influences. So I'd say, my quick answer is the person that the first massive, a professional coach, when I was at Chelsea in 2004, 2005, I just started coaching. I was 18, 19, and seeing Jose Mourinho and what he did at that club and how he influenced people. This was a period where he was a god at that club, and a period where the club was stuck in the olden times, and he brought them to the top and the modern world and the modern game. Of course, he's now probably stuck a little bit in the olden times, and there's more influences. But seeing what influence he had on people and how players talked about him, when I bump into and talk to a player and ask some questions, yeah, he was God, and how he influenced people, regardless of style of play and the other things that I probably don't agree with. He had a big impact on people.
Mark Parsons, you've been an absolute pleasure to talk to. I know you got to get to your scheduled
Got to get to a
meeting.
workout
Yeah,
session.
I'm gonna have to pay your
Then
fine.
next time,
You're gonna get
you're
yes,
gonna get
right.
that guitar off the wall, and you're gonna play us a song.
It's just for
We're
show.
gonna have part two.
Just for show. Yeah, then we'll do the basketball, my man. You're awesome. Do you have anything to say to the Thorns supporters before we go?
Hang in there. Whether you can see the light at the tunnel or you can't yet, there is light. We're going to be there. You're going to be there. We're going to be back in that stadium and rocking it together. It's going to feel better than ever has been before. Hang in there. We're all there. We're on this together. End of the tunnel. We'll be there together.
Mark Parsons, thank you so much,
All right.
sir. Have a good one.
Cheers, Nat. Take care.